Attention.
Atención.
Rosetta Stone invites you to be a part of its biggest language learning event in history. Because in 2011, we want to help 3 million people learn a new language. That's why we're going to give you an absolutely free demo of our language immersion technology. Call 1-800-522-1164. Developed to fully immerse you in your new language, the Rosetta Stone solution is easier than ever before. For your free demo, call 1-800-522-1164. 1-800-522-1164.
Blog Talk Radio.
We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Superhero Academy. I'm your host, Crossfire the Crusader, and here with me this week, our visiting professor is the one and only WATCHMAN. So, WATCHMAN, tell everybody howdy.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in today, and thanks to Crossfire for having me on.
All right, everybody. I want to welcome everybody to what amounts to the final show of the first full year of Superhero Academy. Next week will be our 1-year anniversary show. I've got something pretty special planned out for everybody. Something I put together, just a little sound clip collection thing I've done. I'll be playing next week. It's just going to be a little remembrance show, but we're going to wrap up this year on a very positive note with one of the people in this community that really have impressed me in the time he's been doing this. The WATCHMAN up there in Milwaukee, correct?
Yes. Not
everything north of Iowa, I get confused.
Yeah. Well, it's in the Milwaukee area. I operate in the surrounding areas as well, but primarily Milwaukee. So, I tend to tell people southeastern Wisconsin.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of good articles about you, news articles, TV article, stories, news articles in the paper that have been printed online. You seem to get a lot of good press. So just getting right into it, one of the things I ask everybody is, how did you come from being I use the word normal lightly, a normal person, to becoming the WATCHMAN?
Well, I don't know if I've ever been normal, but I guess when I was younger, aside from being a comic book geek, I'm not ashamed of that. But I also always just loved helping people out. I wanted to be a cop growing up, and I started going to school for that. And then as I got to the point where I was ready to go on and do that, I just wasn't sure if that's what I wanted to do anymore. But I still wanted to, be out there and be able to help people out. So aside from my regular life, I went out and started doing patrols. A lot of it was plain clothes. But starting out, I think, I had a little bit too much fantasy into it. I really felt that I could do more than what was very realistic. And I see that problem with a lot of the young guys and gals that are starting out now. I think, as I say to people, there's kind of the three stages of being a real life superhero. There's what you wish it would be like. There's what you think it's really like, and then there's what it is actually really like. And sometimes, especially if you're a little less mature and whatever, sometimes it takes you a little bit longer to really grasp what it's really like. So I wasted a lot of time doing some crazy stuff that I shouldn't have been doing. I did some pretty bad things. I carried a sword with me that I really didn't know how to use at one point. And it was just really stupid things like that. But this was, I wasn't even quite 18 years old when I started out. This was back in, early 90s. So, it took me a while to get my head screwed on right and to get out there and realize what I was going to have to do it smart and to do it successfully and to really be able to make a difference and help people.
Awesome. I've got another caller on the line.
Put down your weapon. You have 20 seconds to comply.
Area code 712. I think I know who this is. Who we got 712?
Hey, it's Midnight Detective.
I thought so. I sent you your wake-up call.
I'm awake. Let's do it.
You're awake.
Hello, Midnight Detective. I've never had the pleasure of speaking with you before.
Well, hello. Is this the Watchman?
Yes, it is.
Good to hear you.
Yeah, we got our, I don't know what you call the north middle part of the United States, but pretty well covered up there. From Iowa, Wisconsin,
it's getting there. It used to be pretty sparse up here, and I know my area, well, the whole state of Wisconsin, for a long time, I was it. And it's only been in the last year that more people have really been popping up. And the last couple of years we've had, one or two, but it's just been within the last year that all of a sudden we've got, we've got close to a dozen. So.
And I've got area code 847.
Put down your weapon. You have 20 seconds to comply.
847, you're on Superhero Academy.
Hey, it's Moon Knight. What's up?
Hey, Moon Knight.
Hey, I gotta say, I love that thing that plays every time you answer a call.
You got to screen the calls for the supervillains coming in,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I just wish I had a better supervillain than our pizza guy that keeps calling.
He keeps calling?
Oh, he's called several times now.
Wow. You think he'd get the hint?
Well, he slips by every time because I'm too trusting. What can I say?
Oh, well.
Anybody else that does want to call, unless you're delivering the pizzas, it would be area code 917-889-3317. That's 917-889-3317. And this is Crossfire the Crusader on here with the Watchman, and I've got Midnight Detective and Moon Knight with us, so we are having a good conversation today. Watchman, I've got a question for you that I think is on everybody's mind that knows anything about your area.
Okay, and what's that?
When are you going to get Tia Krulos in a cape and mask?
Well, don't think we haven't tried. I think T is actually the most helpful to us, quite honestly, just doing what he does. He's a supporter. He tries to remain objective and does a pretty good job with that. But at the same time, he's supportive when it's come to some of the charity things that we've done. He's played a pretty good part in getting things set up for us, and he's been able to provide some very good information to us over the last couple of years that we've been able to use when planning out patrols and things like that. So he does a pretty good job just doing what he's doing. So
he's pretty impressive. I've had some really good conversations with him, and he's so mild-mannered. Until I saw the recent Phoenix Jones video, I didn't realize how big a guy he is.
Yeah, he's a pretty big guy. I don't think a lot of people realize that because most people haven't seen him. There's been several people across the country that he has been able to go and meet which is great, because if you're going to write a book about people doing this, probably the best thing that you can do is actually go out and meet a variety of us, and he's done that. He has really put a lot into his research, and, I know people are like, well, when is this book coming out? And he's really trying, but it's been important to him to maintain a lot of control over the book. I know a lot of people that were willing to publish it wanted him to change it in a way that it just wouldn't have been the type of book that we're all expecting it to be and that he wants it to be. So I think it's going to be worth the wait, and it's given extra time for him to make updates and things like that too, so that it will be current, which is great, as much as the community, the movement, the subculture has been changing over the last couple of years.
Sometimes things are better to be a couple of years farther down the road to get a better product. I know recently got to see Danger Woman's documentary film, and that was 15 years in the making. And I'm like, wow. I don't think I can imagine doing a project that took 15 years, but that's what it takes to capture the essence of something. It's worth it in every bit. And I know that he's done a lot of interesting stuff. It's like the one thing I'm like, well, how did they not manage to get him in a cape? Because I know Geist and Razorhawk probably tried, and I'm pretty sure when he was up in the Pacific Northwest they tried, and I know y'all have tried.
Yeah. But yeah, T's a great guy. I think the book's going to be great when it does get out into our hands and hands of other people that are just curious about this whole subculture. And but again, I think T doing what he does right now is probably the best thing for him to do, the best thing for us. So
very much so. Now back to you. Give us an idea. What are some of the things you do when you're out on patrol? I know you do some homeless outreach. I know you do security. You have a pretty wide range of things you do. But give us kind of an idea of what the Watchman's mission is.
I do try to keep kind of a wide variety of things that I do. Early on, when I started getting into, meeting people online and seeing what kind of things other people were doing, I was really shocked by how many people were out there saying that you had to do one thing or you had to do another thing. And I think that's just very limiting. I think there's a lot of things for people to do, and, you're not going to save the world by fighting some crime here and there. You're not going to save the world by handing out a few sandwiches. But when you start, helping out feeding the homeless, and you help watching out for communities, and you start talking to people, trying to get them to help themselves and stand up for themselves and watch out for their neighbors, and you kind of get involved with this, I guess you've got to see it as this whole picture and act upon that. That's I think how you're going to make the most difference. So that's what I try to do. I go on patrols. I go both plain clothes, and I go, in I don't know whatever the popular term is. I'm fine with costume. I realize some people absolutely hate that term, but I think really the only reason for me to wear a bright red latex mask and be colorful and do what I'm doing is to get the attention. And about really the only reason that I do that is to let people know that I'm out there and that I'm doing stuff, and to raise awareness when there's a certain cause that I'm trying to raise awareness or trying to do something for charity, and I do that. But every once in a while I just go out there and do it that way, just to let people know that there is somebody out there. Otherwise, a lot of patrols are just plain clothes, just me out there, watching out for people. And then, I use it as kind of a marketing tool, and that's how I'm able to, raise money or do toy drives and things like that, and get people's attention and get people to make donations or get people to help out with things. If I weren't doing that, I would just be one guy doing what I've always done, giving, helping out with charity and stuff, and that's fine. But I just felt that there was something more that I could do.
You bringing that up kind of brings something to mind for me. I remember years ago hearing about Captain Sticky, one of the very first real-life superheroes, and how there would be a situation like a apartment complex where the landlord would shut off the water to all the people living there, and he would pull up in his tricked-out Cadillac, and it was the Sticky Mobile is what he called it, and he would sit out front in his super suit with a megaphone and shout and everything, and the press would just show up. And he would make his case and try him in the court of public opinion, of course, and then they would be shamed into doing the right thing, and he would win a victory for these people, and he would do things like that. You talked about using the costume as a promotional thing. Have you found that the Watchman has this ability to bring more attention to a cause faster than you could just being you?
Oh, definitely, definitely, because I've done things on my own as the guy under the mask, and I've done things as the Watchman, and it's everything that I've tried doing as the Watchman, I've just been more successful at. Trying to raise money for something, I've been able to do more as the Watchman. Anything that I've been involved in as the Watchman seems to be more successful than as just regular Joe. So I think it definitely helps. I think it is inspirational, which I think is a very big part of it. And sometimes, we'll say, well, no, we don't really have superpowers. But if we did, I would say the power of inspiration is one that we could list. And I think that's why it's grown. I mean, that's why there's so many people doing it, because people have been inspired by seeing other people do it. I can't speak for everybody in this area that's doing it, but I know that a large amount of the people who are now doing it in the area that I'm from have done it because they've seen me doing it, either seen me out on the street doing it, or seen something on TV or in the papers, and they were like, yeah, that's great, I want to do this too. They get inspired to do it, and they get involved. And
I just want to say that
you
are one of the superheroes that did inspire me to do this as well. So you got another one too.
Well, and that's great.
Yeah.
I'd be lying if I didn't say that it felt good to hear things like that, because I think everybody likes to hear that what they're doing is worthwhile and it's good and it's working. So I love it when I hear that, yeah, you inspired me to do this, because that lets me know that what I'm doing is working.
Well, one thing, as I listen to you, the wheels of my brain are turning. I love these shows that do like this, like you and Captain Australia and Thanatos last week. It just feeds into my brain, everything y'all are talking. But I'm seeing three things that come into play right there when you go out as the Watchman. First off, you've got this persona that you've crafted that has become the ideal person you want to be, in my opinion. Would that be a correct assumption? Well, I know Crossfire. I was looking. Crossfire is who I would like to be the character Crossfire, and that's something that when I put on that costume, whether it's the clown suit or whatever, I act differently. When I'm in character, I act differently. I become a different person. I strive for a higher ideal, and that's the first thing that comes into play. The second thing I see is that the people respond differently because they're looking for heroes. They're looking for something more. They're looking for something that means something, that has a higher ideal or a higher, gives them some hope. And then the third thing you've got is this factor that I call a BAM factor or something. You've got something that has been dropped into the middle of normal that screams, I'm not normal, I'm unusual, see what I'm doing. And so all of a sudden the attention is drawn to the person in the red mask and cape, or the person in the white battle armor, or the person out there in whatever kind of gimmick, costume, whatever you want to call it. And as long as they're striving to measure up to that standard, the people are watching and they're hoping and they're given a chance to think maybe things can be different, and it inspires them to do the same. Whether they do it in costume or out of costume, it builds upon itself. That's what I see from all this.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I think for me personally, I think the Watchman is more or less who I am. I don't really act all that differently. I think because I've done it enough that it's just, I don't know, maybe I've become more like the Watchman, or maybe the Watchman's become more like me. But we're pretty much the same person. It's a different outfit. I'm just wearing something a little bit different and something that's getting noticed. It's like just wearing some T-shirt that is going to attract some attention. People might comment on it or something. It's like that, but you kind of build on it, and you're wearing something that's going to get people's attention. Attention is good for some things, and it's not good for other things. So, there are times that I don't want to be out there wearing the bright red mask and things like that. So, I think it's important to know what you're going to be doing. If you're going out on a patrol or have some sort of mission in mind, know what you're going to be doing and, dress accordingly. Even as a Watchman, I try to sort of mix the theatrical with something that makes sense and it's fairly functional. Most of the things that I wear are functional. A latex mask is not functional. It's also very uncomfortable. It doesn't breathe well, and but I'm willing to suffer a little bit because of the attention that it does grab. And the rest of me is fairly comfortable. And I carry things that are realistic that I can use, and I just try to keep it practical for the most part, theatrical yet practical.
I want to write that down. Theatrical yet practical. I like that.
Same thing would go for my cape too, because I don't know if any of you guys have, I know you, Crossfire, you have a cape, but capes can be annoying at times. Huh?
I actually have 3 or 4 capes. I have a jester cape, and I have a couple. I have so many capes, it's unreal. I'm weird.
They get annoying at times. Am I right?
Yeah.
No, I don't mind wearing a cape. I don't usually wear a cape. I wear a cape for things like the toy drives, and if I am going to do a media thing, going to be on TV or something like that, sometimes I'll wear a cape. There have been a couple of times that I was just going out really for the sole purpose of letting people know, hey, it's me, I'm still out there, and adding the cape to everything, it grabs a little bit more attention. So there have been a few times that I've gone up, and typically I don't wear a cape when I go out on patrol. It would not be functional. The spandex is not really all that functional. Although I'm comfortable in the spandex, and I think it's really comfortable. I got mine from Hero Gear, and I always forget now that he changed over whether it was HeroGear.net, and now I believe it's
hero-gear.org, a sponsor of Superhero Academy.
But
official sponsor.
But you know what? Now that suit, it's actually Jack over there. He does a really good job. It's built to last. It's stitched together really good. I don't think I could destroy that suit if I wanted to, but I'm not going to wear it out there when I'm doing something that's more along the crime-fighting line or security thing or whatever. Now, if I'm out there doing some sort of children's charity or something like that, the spandex is great, because it really adds to that inspirational, noticeable look. And what kid doesn't get excited about seeing some superhero walking down the street with his cape blowing in the wind?
If I'm remembering right, Master Legend has a suit that he got from Jack that he was actually in a small motorcycle accident and it was undamaged. So they are sturdy.
Yeah, I believe it. I could see the material getting damaged before you're going to pull a stitch on that thing. And I can't believe how sturdy he managed to manages to sew those together.
And I'm on schedule to eventually have one, but I have to be down about 150 pounds because I am not 350 pound Crossfire is not wearing spandex. That's just not pretty.
And now we know the real reason that so many of us wear black.
Exactly.
Women.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's also a lot easier to buy.
That's actually the plan. When I can, I'm going to be getting a black one. When the Crossfire armor upgrade is finished, it's going to go over a black spandex with the keeping the red cape, but everything's going to look different. Black kind of makes it look better in the concept drawing, so I'm giving in to the Johnny Cash look.
Well, you know, the good guys used to wear white, and now a lot of them wear black.
Thank you, Chuck Norris.
I would try trying to keep white boots clean. It's not easy.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, well, I thought that adding a little bit of white in with my look would be good, except that I've got the red too, and the black might gray it a little bit in the wash, and the red's going to turn it pink, and I don't know if I could bring myself to walk down the street in a pink outfit.
Real heroes wear pink now.
No, it's salmon.
Well, you know, if you do have to break up a fight, nobody wants to fight the guy in the pink ballet suit, because even if they lose, they'll never live it down, and even if they win, they just beat up the guy in pink,
Yeah, that's great. A nice tutu. No, that's my utility belt.
Did I mention I moved out of Normal a long time ago? I went to high school there for a little while, but then I left. Oh, goodness. We got about 3.5 minutes left in the show. We'll go into an after show to wrap up a few things. I need to tease the next week's show. I do want to thank you for being on here. Anybody that wants to stay on for the after show, please feel free to just hang on the line after we play the closing song. We got to do our favorite song. Our Skyman will send me nasty emails. He won't really, but he'll just miss his little dance this week. I want to thank you for being on here, Watchman. It's been really great having you. I've been looking forward to this for a while, and I want to thank everybody that's made this first year of Superhero Academy such a success. As we get ready to close out, just remember next week is our anniversary show. We don't have a visiting professor per se, but Midnight Detective and Skyman, I think, are going to be joining me as we do some reminiscing over the past year and some of the funnier things that have happened and some of the better things that are happened, and then a little tribute that I put together for everybody that's done the past year. I want to remind you that listening that we do live in a world, a community where we wear spandex and we have high ideals, and we have a tendency to take ourselves a little bit too seriously. So, guys, just take a minute to laugh at yourself. Take a minute to laugh at the world around you, at the absurdity of some of the things we do. Take a look at the world around you and look for things that need to be done. My biggest advice to anybody getting in this community is find a need, find a way to meet that need, get creative, and have fun while doing it. So, signing off for the final show of the first year of Superhero Academy, I'm going to go ahead and close out with our theme song. Everybody have a good time. Get ready to do your little high kicks and have fun as we do a little Men in Tights.
We're men in tights. We roam around the forest looking for light. We're men in tights. We run from the rich and give to the poor, that's right. We may look like sissies, but what would you say, or else we'll put out your light. We're men in tights. Always on guard, defending the people's rights. La 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 la. From the rich and give to the poor, that's right. We may look like cannons,
And we got about 30 seconds left on there. I did that a little bit early. Of course, next week is our anniversary show, everybody, so I'll see you then. And as we go off there, I'm going to go ahead into our upcoming show topics. Coming up the week after next, we've got Kitty Burton returning from Heart Heroes. We're going to be talking about the Cape Drive and what all's been going on with Heart Heroes since we last talked to them. Then we've got Charlotte Foote will be with us here to talk about Electron Boy. If you remember the young man that got the Make-A-Wish to be a superhero out there in Seattle, his sister, Charlotte Foote, will be with us. The next week we will have the Handler talking to us about her work with animals and all that she does. Reggie Byrne from Cape Watch will join us the 11th of this December. Brandy Rosas will be talking to us about Power Boy and ALD awareness. And on the 25th of December, Christmas Day, we're going to do a pre-recorded Christmas message. And I'm shouting out to all my superhero friends we're going to record some Christmas greetings and just play a little Christmas music with some superheroes saying Merry Christmas from Skyman, Merry Christmas from Midnight Detective, such like that. Just a little way to kind of keep something on the air for our listeners and get everybody a chance to have a little shout-out for the holiday. But we'll start collecting those up here shortly down the road, and I'll get that all put into one big sound clip to play. And I can breathe now. The other thing I want to touch base to the people that will listen to afterwards is we do have our T-shirt designs ready that we're gonna hopefully talk to somebody this week about getting the T-shirts made up for Superhero Academy, and the one for the 1-year RLSH fitness challenge. How are you doing on that, Midnight Detective?
Not pretty good. Not bad.
And do you hate push-ups as much as I do?
Push-ups suck. That's just a basic fact of life.
Yes, definitely. But we're going to have T-shirts for each of those. I've got some more T-shirt designs in standby that we got to flesh them out a little bit. But I'm going to find out how much it costs to get those, and the money made from the T-shirt sales, we'll go to take this to a 1-hour program by paying the premium rate. And everything above and beyond that price will be given to Heart Heroes to help buy capes for young kids with congenital diseases of the heart, which will help them find their inner superhero to face all the surgeries and medical visits and other scary things they have to do. So that's what we have going on between now and the end of the year. Haven't decided what we're doing for New Year's, but we'll figure something out. Watchmen, we've got about 12 minutes left here. I want to make sure we get everything covered with you. What would be your advice? What is your advice to somebody new coming into this community?
Well, I guess the biggest thing is, do your homework, research, find out what your local laws are, as far as weapons that are legal. Do you have mask laws or anti-mask laws? And things like that. Talk to people who have established themselves that seem to be respected, within the community. It's great to get on some of the forums and stuff, but there tends to be a lot of
drama,
useless things and drama and stuff like that to kind of wade through to get the good information that is on there. And that's something that I'm trying to fix and take care of on reallysuperheroes.org by making it more about experience and giving the general public a better understanding of what we do, why we do it, how we do it. So having some of those resources to go to as well. But keep your head attached. Use your brain, use common sense. Common sense is your friend, and there's just way too many people who try to do this that seem to lack it. But I think as long as you're fairly level-headed and you do your research, you have some sort of skills to add into it, that pertain to what you're trying to do. Don't try and be some sort of crime fighter if you don't have any kind of skills whatsoever for doing that kind of stuff and knowing how to defend yourself and things like that. of course, if you don't have anything like that, you want to get into the charity end of it. The charity end is much easier. You really don't have as much that you have to know in order to do things like that. But again, I prefer sort of, kind of middle of the road, nice blend of things. And I say crime fighter. A lot of people use the term crime fighter. I actually prefer crime prevention over crime fighting, because if you're fighting a crime, that means there's already a victim. I would just like to be able to prevent that, so there is no victim. I'd rather stop things from happening before they happen, than to let it escalate to the point where somebody actually does need help.
I agree 110%. The prevention is better than the fighting. After the fact, you've already got an issue. It's always better to take care of it before the fact. And I have lost. Midnight Detective is gone. So
I didn't get to say goodbye. There is one other thing that I'd want to add in that, and that is that I do strongly advise people to work within the law. And that's why I said, make sure you know what your laws are about things, but work within the law. Regardless of what your personal feelings might be as far as police, and it's going to vary because, police in one town might be a little bit more corrupt and things than in some other town. But, even if you don't respect certain people on the force or whatever, have some respect for law enforcement, and, you don't want to make them your enemy. It's not going to go well. If you do see a problem with corruption in your local police, there are ways to try and fight that, and there are ways not to try and fight it, and just be smart about that or whatever you do. Make sure you think things through. Don't go rushing into a fight. Plan it out. Just come up with a good plan. Come up with a good contingency plan, and make sure that you are prepared for whatever mission you're taking on.
Sounds like some good advice there. Now, one last thing before we run out of time here. I always ask, what is one instance you can share with us, where you have impacted somebody's life, that's just something that's just stuck with you, one encounter with the public, or something you have done has just changed somebody's life for the better?
As many times as I get asked a question like that, I'm just amazed that I don't have a good answer for it, because there are so many times that I have. I mean, I've been able to get people medical attention, and I know that impacts them, possibly saved a life or two along the way. So of course that's great. But really, any of the times that people come out and they let me know that they think that it's great that somebody's out there doing what I'm doing, and people thank me, I think that to me is the best, because then again, I know that there's a reason for what I'm doing, and I know that it's working. I might not be able to save the world, but if I can have an impact that might change some other people's minds and get them doing a little bit more, one person might not make too much of a difference, but together, if we were all working at it together, we could really change the world. So, might not have been the answer that you were looking for, but that's what it is.
There's no wrong answer. No wrong answer to that. We all have something to teach. We all have something to learn, and that's the beauty of this. This is not just my show. This is everybody's show. That's what makes this made this successful, because each of us has something that we're doing right, and each of us could listen to somebody else and go, hey, you know what? That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's actually an important thing for people who consider themselves veterans or whatever to remember. There's too many of us out there that think that our way is the right way, and we get kind of we get egos, and we get a little boneheaded, and we don't want to listen to other ideas. But there are people out there. There's new people out there that have some really good ideas. So, I think it's good for all of us to keep an open mind.
Definitely. You never know when you're going to get up and somebody's going to say, I did this, and you're going to realize, wow, if I'd done that 2 weeks ago, I could have made this situation even better, And so, you never know what's gonna change on that. So, we got about 5 minutes left. We're going to run completely out of time. I want to thank you one last time for being here, Watchman. Midnight Detective, I know you'll hear this in the podcast, so thank you for calling in. Thank you, Moon Knight, even if I can't get your name right. And for everybody in the chat room,
I say it sometimes wrong when I'm wearing the mask, too, so...
But I want to thank everybody that's called in and been part of this, everybody who's in the chat room. Watchman, we're going to have to get you on here again sometime. Keep me in the loop when you got something big coming up. Maybe we can get a special show going for that or something. Because, like I said, you are one of there's about 5 in the community that I really watch because Teflon is the best word. Everything just slides right off you. You get the good press. Nobody can really throw anything at you because you avoid the drama. And that in itself is a very powerful thing. If you stay out of the drama and just get out there and do the job, that's impressive. And I admire you for that.
Well, thank you. It's it's easy to stay out of it, and yet it's hard to stay out of it. Because there's so much out there, and it's just hard to hold back and not put your 2 cents worth into all these different things that are going on. But there's enough drama out there. I don't need that in my life. I got enough things to worry about. There's enough drama in everyday life. I don't need to go on the internet and have a bunch more. So hopefully,
exactly.
Hopefully I can continue to have the luck that I've had with the media, and because a lot of it has just been luck. You can have the best feeling about a reporter or whatever, and still you're leaving it in their hands, in their editor's hands. And if you want to talk to me about editing, talk to T. Krulos, because he's had stories out there that an editor has taken and done something differently with. It's not always the writers who get the stuff right or get the stuff wrong. The editors, they have a hand in that. So I think I've been fortunate in that the press that I have got is good, and I almost feel like at this point it would be silly for somebody to try and make me look like some kind of joke out there, because there's been so much press that has been good about the good things that I'm trying to accomplish out there.
Well, tell Blackbird thanks for getting this set up for me. We'd get you on here eventually anyway, but he jumped right in there and took the reins on it, and I really appreciate that. And tell T. Krillos if he's not going to wear a hat, a mask, or a cape or anything, that we're definitely going to get him in a Superhero Academy T-shirt.
He
so that we
probably
wear that. He's one of the group.
He would probably wear that. So, I will definitely pass those messages along. And thank you for having me on. And definitely, if you need somebody on here again in the future, I would be happy to do it.
We'll be doing some more stuff. We're going to probably pull up some more historical figure stuff like we've done in the past, and different causes, and look at things that are going on, and there's just so much going on that we can cover. And I appreciate having you on here, and it's been an honor. So I'm going to go ahead and end this episode. Everybody, I'll see you next week. Same cross time, same cross channel. Y'all have a good day.